Welcome back to base camp, WNC. Well, it's Monday. Anywhere from 4 to 6 inches of rain here this Saturday night and Sunday. We're back here at the broccoli field, and in 1 week these things went from about the size of a quarter in a head to they're about 3 to 4 inches across. You can get down here and look at some of them broccoli heads. And they're all about ready. By the end of the week, we'll be harvesting broccoli. Looking pretty good. Cauliflower is still further behind, but we'll walk around here and see if we can't get some pictures of some good looking broccoli heads for you. Well, here we are. Mr. Walter, we do grow some pretty good looking broccoli. Here's some more. They're all headed up real good. We do have that, as I said, we do grow. He does grow plenty of vegetables and a pretty good stand of smartweed. You see this lighter green weed sprinkled out in here. We just got sections of it. We just can't ever seem to get rid of it. Kind of annoying, just enough to be annoying about it. We'll take a walk around and show you just how much the squash and everything's really done in the last week. I'll be heading back up to the mountains to go to Life Skills and teaching 3 courses there. And let me give you a farm update before I leave. Well, here it is, it's starting. There's the cauliflower starting to head out. It's about 2 inches of course right there. We'll close it up. It is all self-blanching, but they are starting to come on. They're going to be about 2 weeks behind everything else. We're down here at the end of the broccoli field. This is that last little bit of cabbage. That's the bok min, black Russian kale, and bok choy. They're starting to cut them pretty hard, hot, and heavy. Matter of fact, today we're gonna find a bunch of broccoli heads. We're gonna start cutting and put on a stand and contact the suppliers. And we're gonna be harvesting broccoli here at the end of the week and take it to the wholesalers and the restaurants. So it's all about ready to start really getting in the fold. We're gonna walk over to the other field here and look at how all these plants look like that we set out the other day and see how they're taking hold. Well, I don't know how well you can see it, but this time the corn planter really worked. We got corn set out every 6-8 inches all the way up and down these rows. So I think we finally got that new John Deere planter working right. We got some beans coming up we'll have to show you and whatnot, but right up here on the end of the field, right there, first bunch of plastic you get to is all the okra we set out. Let's see how they took a hold from transplant shop. Well, where have they all gone? I wanted to film this little operation, and we're one person short, so one person's got to move everything over to the side, take that bottom flat off, load everything on the trailer and the mule, and then haul butt to the field. They're normally done planted everything by then, and they're waiting on you. So I'm gonna have to get going and hopefully film some of this, but I don't know if I can or not. Well, we broke into this last clip and this one here, and this is actually the planting. There's only had 2 little clips of this thing to show you, but this is planting the 15,000 okra plants. It took just about 3.5–4 hours from start to finish, but I kind of broke into the middle of this video for this thing to kind of show you what it's like. Got to do a voiceover because the wind was so bad that day. And then kind of like the next clip is what it's going to be like 4 days later on after transplant shock and everything kind of holds over. This planter works with a water wheel and does real good. Well, here's the okra we set out, and it's been 4 days now. And in the black plastic through the heat, the water wheel planter does give that shot of water on every one of them. The drip irrigation's turned on before we plant. And in that water wheel planter, we use some 906 pop-up liquid fertilizer in that thing to get them over any transplant shock. And as you can see by looking at these rows, they're not suffering. And it'll be close to 80 degrees all of a sudden today. 39 the other night, but here sits the first 15,000 okra plants set out, and the greenhouses are getting loaded up again for 2 more batches of them. Let's go up the row and we'll see what this squash and melons and all that looks like. Well, this is a row of watermelons. Planted 1 row, move off to the side, and as you can tell, they're not suffering any transplant shock. They probably doubled in size in the last 4 days, 5 days since they've been planted. And we'll go up here and take a look at these other ones. They're really doing good. Well, right here's the zucchini. Here's the 1 row of zucchini going down there. And just to the right of it here is the start of the yellow squash going that direction. And it goes on up quite a ways. And these things here, if they haven't doubled, they've tripled in size in the last 4 or 5 days now. These have been set out 5 days ago. But if you're looking for something to do here in the next 30 days, come on out and pick some squash. We can always use a hand. Well, here's the cucumber rows. This is slicing cucumbers here, and pickling cucumbers on the back side on another section. They look a little bit rough here and there. I think they got a little too much water on them after being transplanted. Everything has what it'll take and what it won't take. But right here's the tomatoes. We'll go over here and take a look at these tomatoes. They're shining out like you wouldn't believe. Well, here's the tomato plants. They're looking real good going down the row. Looks like the amount of rain we got might have hurt some cucumbers, but sure made the tomato plants look pretty good. And I believe this is like 8,000 of them set out. We've got some bare rows over there on the right hand side where the next bunch go, and that's about all we grow. The islands down here will grow them by the million, so Walter's got some restaurants and some particular customers that want certain brands and certain sizes, and that's kind of what he aims for. We'll see if we can show you this sweet corn behind us that's coming up, and maybe hit on the strawberry fields before we quit. Well, I believe everything's got worked out on that planter. There's all the rows of green beans. Might got them a little bit too heavy, but we'll have to compensate for that. But there's about 1/4 of an acre of them, so that should just about be enough to have to put up with. Well, there's one thing about plenty of heat, plenty of water. You'd be surprised what it does for strawberry production. We got the people loaded up. I wasn't here, but Walter said Saturday it was a booming crowd out here. Picked like 1,600 gallons of berries. See a few pickers out there. We got 3 school groups in today. We had 3 farm tours, and school buses there in the distance are still here. Kids are out playing and picking, and we'll see what else we can get into before we close this thing up. Well, here we are up by the office and the playground. Had a nice thing. We got 3 schools, 6 classes, about almost 225 kids here. One of the questions on the farm tour, one of the kids asked how we keep the deer and everybody out of everything out. We were showing them the electric fence, and we said the best way was just to invite a couple hundred screaming elementary students here, and that worked just fine. Teachers thought it was kind of funny, but the students didn't quite understand that comment. But maybe some of the adult chaperones might not have liked it too much, but it does work. So anyhow, if you get into market gardening or something like this, you need to try to help out the community and schools. But if you like this, share it with your friends. Let everybody know about it. I appreciate it. The website's right there. You can get a hold of me through YouTube or the website. Email me. If you got any questions on growing, fertilizing, tissue samples. We do a lot of tissue samples on stuff to come up with the deficiencies. So if I can help you with anything, let me know. The advice is free, and it might just be worth what you pay for it. Thank you for watching.